Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll be once again exploring real property. Specifically, our topic today is vested and contingent remainders. Now, the general rules for both vested and contingent remainders are that remainders, first of all, and reversion correspond to three present interests. We've talked about present interest in the previous video. Life estate is one of them, a fee tail, and a leasehold. Remainders do not follow fee simple estates. Now we've talked about the fee simple estates, the fee simple absolute. So a remainder does not follow a fee simple estate. A remainder is a future interest. Example, if Jack conveys to himself for life and remainder to Jill, that is an example of a remainder. So Jack has a life estate and Jill has a remainder. Jill has a present right. Jack cannot do whatever he wants with the property, and any changes requires Jill's consent, as he has the remainder. Remainders have three characteristics. They arise simultaneously with the present interest. In this case, for example, as we have in the previous example, the present interest. Now, remainders are not possessory until the present interest expires, and it can never terminate prematurely. Remainders become possessory when the present interest expires. Vested remainders is vested once granted to the person who firstly is born and whose identity is presently ascertainable. Secondly, there must be no condition precedent to the complete vesting of the rights. As we have alluded to in the previous example, the future interests, such as the fee simple determinable and the fee simple on condition subsequent. Subsets of vested remainders. They can be vested remainder subject to complete divestment and vested remainder subject to open. Vested remainder subject to complete divestment happens when, for example, if we say that Jack conveys Blue Acre to himself, then remainder to Jill, but if Jill marries Bruno to Boris, this remainder is vested. However, Jill has full remainder rights at deed execution, but if Jill marries Bruno, the remainder leaves Jill and is vested in Boris. Vested remainder subject to open happens when, for example, if John conveys Blue Acre to himself for life, remainder to Jules' children. At time of conveyance, Jewel has one daughter, Esmeraldine. The remainder is vested since it was conveyed to Jill's children. Now, Jill may have more children, so that means that Esmeraldine interest is subject to dilution in favor of an open-ended class. The more children that she has, the more subdivisions will be the interest subjected to. Now, contingent remainders. A remainder is contingent when it fails to meet one of the two requirements of a vested remainder. Now, vested remainder requirements that the person is born and identity is ascertainable. Now, for contingent, it's when the test for vested remainders fails, and now we have a person who is unborn and unidentified. then this will be contingent remainder. So the interest will be contingent upon uh, the child being born and being identifiable. We can see in this example, Jacqueline conveys Brownacre to himself for life, remainder to Jill's children. Now, Jill has no children. That means that remainder is conveyed to unborn children. Hence, it is contingent. Remainder to Jill's heirs, if the heirs will be unascertainable until Jill's death, then we have an example of contingent remainders. There is also what we call condition precedenting contingent remainder. If Jacqueline conveys to himself remainder to Jill, but only if she marries Boris before Jack dies, Jill does not have any of the rights of a remainder man. While remainder is contingent, Jack retains reversion. The difference between vested remainder, sorry, to complete divestment and that it's conditional is that vested remainder subject to complete defeasant grantee has rights from conveyance. Rights can get lost on future events. Contingent remainder grantee lacks a right at a time of conveyance. She will not have these rights until future event. Now, reversion may happen by operation of law. A reversion can never follow a fee simple. And that's the end. We're now going to go over the sources of real property as they have been done in the previous video.